Moments of tension, moments of heartache, moments of heart-pounding action, fear, and fun. But the Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus series didn't really do all that much for me. It was fun, but it was just okay. As most of you guys know, I took a 4-month break to focus on work stuff. Now I'm back. I didn't pay attention to any of the fandom. I didn't pay attention to any Star Wars news. I never saw a second of Celebration footage, but now I'm back and I'm finally talking about Kenobi. I would describe the show as predictable. Maybe that's because we kind of know how this tale ends, right? But the twists and turns, like Reva secretly plotting against Darth Vader, was predictable from the jump. And in my stories, especially Star Wars stories, predictability is a huge downside. I thought Reva's motivations were great. I liked her as a character. I thought Moses Ingram did an incredible job, but the arc was predictable. There was an episode where we saw flashbacks of Anakin and Obi-Wan training. They were having a conversation while they were training. We see the competitive side of Anakin, and those flashbacks were mixed in with what was happening present day in the show. I loved that. I loved that so much. Those moments, that mixture, was a beautiful way to bring the old and the new together. You know, you show their past relationship, how things build up. It was such a fantastic way to bridge that gap. I thought that moment was brilliant. One of the best moments in the show, and it was incredibly memorable. Kenobi didn't really add anything to the overall Star Wars story, in my humble opinion. A little fun romp of an adventure with Leia, seeing Luke for a bit, revisiting familiar locations, seeing familiar faces. Despite all of this, I don't think when we pull back and look at the impact of Kenobi on the macro view of Star Wars, and maybe it's canon, nothing really new was added. Nothing really all that important, in my opinion, happened that changed the course of things. I mean, it was cool to see that Obi-Wan and Leia did have a history, a past, but beyond that, not much. The one thing that I really liked that was an addition was that Jedi Underground Railroad. You know, smuggling Jedi through a series of checkpoints, seeing little messages of hope, the infrastructure that was built to accomplish this covert mission. It was a really great idea, and one that I wish was explored way more than it was in the show, because in the grand scheme of things, it was really the only interesting addition that Kenobi brought to the universe, again, in my opinion. At least the only interesting addition I wanted a lot more of. One of my favorite moments was when Obi-Wan and Leia are traveling together and they hop in this like Star Wars version of a bus or whatever. And as they drive away, we see a big old Imperial bumper sticker. There was a lot of great tension in that episode from what I remember. And also Leia and Obi-Wan's conversations in that episode were fantastic. The lightsaber duel near the end of the series between Kenobi and Vader was great. Way better than their duel in Revenge of the Sith. Probably gonna get a lot of comments for this, but you guys know my opinion on all that. That duel was so silly and over the top, jumping on droids, surfing on lava, swinging on big collapsing platforms like George of the Jungle. It was goofy. It was goofy. Relative to that, the duel in Kenobi was super subdued and way more powerful. That's not to say all of the action was great in this series, because it definitely was not. I'm sure it's been discussed on the old internet ad nauseum. You'll have to forgive me. I haven't looked at any reviews. I haven't tried to gauge any general consensus. I didn't scroll. I don't even know what this show has on Rotten Tomatoes. I didn't scroll around on Twitter to see what people were saying. Again, I took a 4-month break right when the show started, actually like 2 weeks before the show started. I have no idea what you guys think, so you'll have to forgive me, but that chase scene with Leia running through the woods, that was bad. It's bad. It looked like a few people went into the woods behind their Georgia ranch-style suburban home and ran around with a camera, which is why I'll say that it looked like something you'd see on a YouTube Star Wars fan film. It wasn't exciting, it looked bad, and it was super goofy. It did not fit with the rest of the show. The action in the rest of the show was pretty fantastic. I loved how it was shot. I loved how the lightsabers were used to naturally illuminate the surroundings. Most of the other action was great. It just goes to show that action is not just action. A lot goes into it to make it look tense, to make it seem exciting. But yeah, another moment I thought was really clever was when Vader's helmet was kind of split in two. We see Anakin beneath the mask, and what made that moment really powerful to me was hearing the voice of both Hayden Christensen and James Earl Jones. The breathing continued, the two voices overlapped. It was a really powerful moment and gave me chills. I could talk about little moments I loved all day. Maybe I'll do that on a live stream. But yeah, the overall show, it did not impact me as much as I was hoping. I mean, it was amazing to see Ewan McGregor back in the role. It was really fun in places, but the whole package got bogged down frequently for me. Seeing Kenobi beaten down, a man whose entire worldview has crumbled, was important and powerful, but I really wish his torment was further explored. And you know, despite the show being about characters we've known and loved for decades, it did not feel like it was rehashing too many ideas. It did not feel like we were mulching over the same stuff. There was enough new material surrounding the familiar to make it feel fresh. So, Kenobi. It is definitely worth a watch. I mean, if you're a Star Wars fan, which I'm sure you all are if you're watching this dumb video, it's a no-brainer, you know? Flip it on, maybe you'll get a kick out of it. You know, I never give a grade to anything, but I would give it like a low B, high C, maybe like a high C. I had fun. Anyway, I'm back. My 4-month break, my 5-month break, whatever it was, is over. I'm gonna start making videos here and there, not as much as I used to, but you know, I'm gonna try when I find the time. You'll see more of me. Stay tuned. HelloGreedo, out.